Whoever's there, hello. Four people on now. Okay, good, good. Oh, Ashling, you're on. I should have known you'd be there. One of my top members, so loyal. Thank you so much, Ashling. I really do appreciate everything that you do for the channel. Thank you very much. So it looks like we got about six people on right now. Nine people now. Okay. So they're starting to walk in the front door, huh? It's still not quite 6 o'clock. I mentioned in the post that I made about this live stream the possibility of doing a live ASMR. Um, how do you guys feel about that? Is that something you'd be interested in doing? We wouldn't have to do it for a real long time, but we could do it for a while, see how it goes. So let me know. Let me know in the chat section what your feelings are about that. Okay. All right. So I did. If any of you have, oh, okay. I was just about to ask that. Would absolutely love it. You did a snippet of it in the last live I was here, and I really enjoyed it. Okay. All right. So we'll do that. We'll do that. Um, let's give it a little time to see if some more folks show up first, and then we'll get started. I can do basically anything you guys want. If there's a special sounds or whatever that you like, um, be happy to try my best. Okay. Um, if any of you have seen my last video, it just went live a couple hours back, well, about 3 hours now. It references the idea of the inner child, which is a psychological concept to describe a part of our brain, a part of our psyche that may be kind of frozen in time. This typically happens when people experience some sort of trauma as a child. And it can be a singular event type trauma, but it doesn't have to be. It can be a series, a whole series. MPM 2990, thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity. Really appreciate it. Thank you. So, as I was saying, when people experience trauma, whether it be a singular event or a series of smaller traumas, when they're children, part of their psyche gets kind of frozen in that spot. Okay, and it you can have a hard time moving past it. So the emotions, the feelings that you were experiencing as a child, kind of stay locked in, and they're just like always there. So a lot of times when people are experiencing anxiety, depression, things of that nature, the the driving force behind that quite often is this part of us that's locked in trauma and that's been traumatized, and a part of us that is afraid. It's afraid. Okay. Let's see, Ashley, child connect in any way to ego defense mechanisms. Like, for example, as a psychology student, this stuff really interests me. Well, absolutely, it's a defense mechanism. It's just, yeah, absolutely. And the problem is it works real well when you're young, but as an adult, not so much. It kind of becomes hurtful. It stifles your development. Let's put it that way. Okay. So what therapists might try to do, part of their role might be to help the adult, the client, to kind of integrate that part of them that's frozen, that's locked in place. And one way that you do that is to start to develop a dialogue between the adult client and the still the same person, of course, but they start talking to that part of them that's very heavily defended, as Ashling pointed out, very heavily defended, and it's afraid. And so when people become afraid, they develop certain habits, defense mechanisms, um, just ways of trying to cope. And unfortunately, some of those are not very healthy, and in particular, addictions. You can see addictions as a form of coping with your anxiety and your depression. And that, of course, that anxiety and depression is welling up from your psyche that does not trust you as an adult. It doesn't think that you have its uh, well being in mind. It doesn't think that you care about it. It doesn't think that you're, um, what would I say, capable, maybe, of taking care of that child. The child feels alone and abandoned. Okay. So part of the role of a therapist might be to walk the client through a whole lengthy series of different kinds of exercises and experiences that are designed to kind of reintegrate the two. It's real important that the client start to develop a sense of self confidence and trust and belief that it being the client knows what's best for it, for himself, him or herself, and is fully capable and wants to take care of that little child who's hurting inside of them. And so you do a lot of role plays, a lot of conversations. One of the things that I suggest to people, if they have a photograph of themselves when they're a child, um, take that photograph out and sit down and have a conversation. Have a conversation with that child, and just tell it, look, I love you. I've always loved you, and I'm sorry I haven't always been here for you, but I am now. I'm here for you now, and I'm not going to abandon you. And I want you to feel safe. Okay. So in some ways, if you think about it, the role of an ASMR artist is to kind of create that same environment for you. My job is to help you to feel grounded, loved, connected, calm, to understand. I have a persona, and Ashling, I'm sure, is uh, very familiar with the idea of what they call transference and countertransference. In therapy, transference is simply the client looks at the therapist, and there may be things about the therapist, the way they physically look, their mannerisms, the way they dress, just lots of things, their accent, phrases they use, different things that can kind of either consciously or subconsciously remind the client of someone in their life that they either knew or know now. And sometimes they don't have nice memories or thoughts about this person. So the client's looking at the therapist and they're feeling kind of antagonistic towards the therapist. And they don't know why, but they just don't like the therapist. And it turns out it's because they remind them of somebody they don't like. And so that's hopefully that's something that will come up in discussion, and the client and the therapist can hash it out. Um, the other side of that is counter transference, and that's just what you might think. It's simply a situation where the therapist looks at the client and listens to the client's issues and maybe has had some similar experience. And so the client is reminding the therapist of unpleasant experiences the therapist may have had. So the therapist is looking at them and saying, I'm not real crazy about this guy, and so those things have to be discussed. It's part of the therapeutic process to get that out in the open to talk about it. So that's transference and countertransference. And for some of you folks, when you make comments about me being granddad and reminding you of him and all that, that's a really pretty clear example of what transference looks like. Okay, so just to clear that up a little bit. Um, so, anybody got any questions for me? Let's see what we've got here. Not too many questions. Okay. Well, somebody give me um, some kind of idea. Ashley had mentioned something about hand movements, and that's easy enough to do. Um, it's something that I've tried to work on because I always feel like I move too fast, and I watch other artists and I see what they do, and I realize they're very slow and intentional. And whereas I tend to do this a lot, and I want to. Oh, the chat is on members only mode. Oh gosh, I don't know how to turn that on. Okay, maybe that did it. I'm not sure. Hmm. I don't. I don't want to. I don't want to do that to anybody. Let's see. Let me see how to take that off. Hmm. Hmm. Well, this is a drag. I might have to go. See, I don't know where that how it got locked up like that. Engage with your audience. Start a poll. Members only. Live stream. All right, let's see what this says. Schedule a time when your live stream will switch to members only. Just the members at the level you choose will be able to watch. Non-members can become members to join the fun. I don't want to do that. Oh, okay. I think it's going to kick in. I think it's going to kick in about a minute. I think I found the problem, and I think it's going to turn itself off here in about a minute. So let's. Well, actually, I just did that. I went off to the side. I have some buttons to click, and I saw where it said members only, and it said end in 5 minutes. So I clicked on that and hit it to say end in 1 minute. So uh, it should be coming off at any moment now, and everybody should have access. Really sorry about that, guys. I'm still pretty new to this, and you know, I'm still playing catch up. So, uh, so let's see what happens here. It should clear itself up here. There we go. Let's see. No, I didn't do it on purpose. Okay. Last thing's a member. So I know she can post in the chat. Is there anybody else out there um, who could try to send a chat just so we can see if it's coming through? No, it's still just showing you and me. Okay. Ashling, I think I'm going to take your advice, and I'm going to, I'm just going to see if I can shrink this and maybe go to some other settings.